Hey guys, welcome to Your USA, where the politicians make stuff up and the Constitution doesn't matter. Until now. Hey guys, welcome back to Your USA. Today's episode is going to be all about Articles 2 and 3 of the Constitution. It's going to be the second one in this series. The first one was about Article 1, which talks about all the legislative powers of the government and what the federal government is allowed to do. So if you missed that episode, go and check it out. Right now, we'll start in on Article 2. Article 2, Section 1 starts out by saying, the executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years, and together with the Vice President chosen for the same term, and be elected as follows. Each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress. But no senator or representative or person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed as an elector. So they can't hold any other office. They can be an elector and that's it. The Congress may determine the time of choosing the electors and the day on which they shall give their votes, which day shall be the same throughout the United States. No person except a natural-born citizen shall be eligible to the office of the President. Neither shall any person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained to the age of 35 years and been 14 years of residence within the United States. But they have to have been born here, be 35, and have lived here for 14 years before the election. In case of the removal of the President from office or his death, resignation, or inability to discharge the powers and duties of the said office, the same shall devolve on the Vice President, and the Congress may by law provide for the case of removal, death, resignation, or inability, both of the President and the Vice President, declaring what officer shall then act as President, and such officer shall act accordingly until the disability be removed or a president shall be elected. The president shall at stated times receive for his services compensation, which shall neither be increased nor diminished during the period for which he shall have been elected, and he shall not receive within that period any other emolument from the United States or any of them. He can't receive other forms of payment from the government except for his compensation, his salary. Before he enter on the execution of his office, he shall take the following oath or affirmation, and this is very important. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Section 2. The President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States, and of the militia of the several states. When called into the actual service of the United States, he may require the opinion, in writing, of the principal officer in each of the executive departments, upon any subject relating to the duties of their respected offices, and he shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. He shall have power, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, to make treaties, provide 2/3 of the senators present concur, and he shall nominate, and by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, shall appoint ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls, judges of the Supreme Court, and all other officers of the United States, whose appointments are not herein otherwise provided for, and which shall be established by law. But the Congress may by law vest the appointment of such inferior officers as they may think proper, in the President alone, in the courts of law, or in the heads of departments. The President shall have power to fill up all vacancies that may happen during the recess of the Senate by granting commissions which shall expire at the end of their next session. That whole section is about the Senate being, basically they have to give a majority in order to approve who the President will appoint. Section 3. He shall from time to time give to the Congress information of the State of the Union address, and recommend to their consideration such measures as he shall judge necessary and expedient. He may, on extraordinary occasions, convene both houses or either of them, and in case of disagreement between them with respect to the time of adjournment, he may adjourn them to such time as he shall think proper. He shall receive ambassadors and other public ministers. He shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed, and shall commission all the officers of the United States. Basically, everybody who he appoints. We're talking about ambassadors to the UN. We're talking about Secretary of Defense. You go through all the list, his cabinet members, all of that. Section 4. The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Just by that section alone, you can tell that there are individuals out there who have probably been able to be tried and convicted of this, but it hasn't happened because of corruption. Of course, you can't say that they did it because it's all speculation, but we all know politicians can tend to be corrupt. We're going to move into Article 3, Section 1. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court, and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. So circuit courts of appeals and other federal courts that aren't the Supreme Court, they can still try cases before it gets there. The judges both of the Supreme and inferior courts shall hold their offices during good behavior, and shall at stated times receive for their services a compensation which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. While they're in, they get paid the same amount. Section 2. The judicial power shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United States, and treaties made or which shall be made under their authority, to all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls, to all cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction, to controversies to which the United States shall be a party, to controversies between two or more states, between citizens of different states, between citizens of the same state claiming lands under grants of different states, and between a state or the citizens thereof and foreign states. In all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls, and those in which a state shall be party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction in all the other cases before mentioned. The Supreme Court shall have appellate jurisdiction both as to law and fact, with such exceptions and under such regulations as the Congress shall make. The trial of all crimes, except in cases of impeachment, shall be by jury, and such trial shall be held in that state where the said crimes would have been committed. But when not committed within any state, the trial shall be at such place or places as the Congress may by law have directed. Section 3. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them, the United States, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of two witnesses to the same overt act, or on confession in open court. The Congress shall have power to declare the punishment of treason, but no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture except during the life of the person attainted. Basically, the Congress has the power to declare their punishment if they were in treason. Sometimes Congress can decide no punishment, which we see happen, seems like all the time. But like I said, no one's been convicted of treason because they can tend to be so corrupt that no witnesses come forward because they magically suicide themselves. So that was section 2 and 3. I was talking about the executive and judicial powers of the government. Pretty simple and straightforward, really. We haven't really gotten into the meat and potatoes of some of the amendments that come up as talking points, but we'll get to that in the next few episodes. And stay tuned for next time when we go through Articles 4 and 7. We'll continue learning this, and that way we can start discussing what's going on in our country and how it affects the Constitution. That way we know the right way to respond. Thanks, guys. Hope to see you on the next video.